tuning into the Black Fire Radio, and you listen. Yes, massive wagwan. Andrew Robinson, your Jamaican brother there, reaching out to all the massive on the African continent, and you're tuning into.
Yes, good afternoon, family. Karibuni sana to yet another beautiful conversation and episode of the Pan-African English Show. This is the media of the 21st century, the Black Fire Network radio station to everyone who's right here for the first time. In case you are on YouTube, on Twitter, on TikTok, shout out to you, Steve. Thank you so much for tapping the screen. Everyone live with us on Rumble, on Beachroot, on the show page, on the TV, on the radio station, on Spotify. Nakwambia, we are everywhere, literally. Come on, but I hope you guys are doing amazing. Hope you're ready for the day. Hope you're ready for today's conversation where we shall be talking about, of course, what is happening in the 254. In the past 2-3 weeks, the 254 has literally been on the limelight regarding what is going on. Danny taking over, that is the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Of course, during the demonstration, which has literally shed so much light in most of the African countries as well. And of course, we've seen because of this, it has led to back to back literally demonstration, even if it is because of something super small. And we're talking about the nurses who are actually striking today, and they are actually saying that they are tired. Okay, and the reason why they're tired is that they are demanding actually more, for the country to actually hire more workers, because for them they feel really exhausted. But we shall get a little bit into details, because there's a time, I think in 2022, I shared a very devastating story, and it was a really sad story coming from most of these hospitals where these nurses are claiming they're tired, how they've been treating the people, and how they actually even end up detaining majority of the patients if they're not able to pay the funds. Literally, we've seen that was in 2022. I shared the video. If majority of you can remember that episode of the show, I shared a video from this woman who had been detained in the hospital for over years, and others even over months. And that is after they have been healed, getting sick even over and over again. And this because our system, literally, number one, it's all about corruption, poor treatment, and yet they're demanding more wages and more people to be hired. So the question is, even if we had, or even if we're gonna have more people in this space, which I do know that we do have so many young people who do demand and are required to be given this opportunity to also explore their passion or whatever they did, because majority is not passion nowadays. They're doing it because their parents are telling them to, because of the money, or because you have nothing to do, or because actually also your family member maybe works there. It becomes an nepotism type of thing. But we shall be checking onto that, because even if they have 100 more people hired, is this going to change the system of service in our hospitals? That is my questions. Because so far it has been super bad. I'll be sharing 2 or 3 videos where a couple of patients have experienced even rape in hospitals. And these are the same hospitals who are claiming they're tired, and they demand more people to be added so that they can reduce, or so that they can be able to equalize the work. In majority of these hospitals, if you go again, like the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, I'm a witness. And I was trying to look for videos which are actually exposing these people, but there's none. The way Kenya can clear data, and actually how African countries and the rest of the world, to be specific, how they clear the data to just clean their country, make it look like it's a working country, it is super amazing. And Ruto is doing it, because back in Uhuru's regime, you could find a couple of videos. Right now, there is no nurse who has done anything to patients. There's not even those videos of where we saw hospital stealing babies. These videos are slowly disappearing on YouTube. But we shall be talking about that as our major conversation, because accountability needs to be held. You can't keep on demanding for more wages. You can't keep on saying you're tired. You need more people to be added in a certain company or organization, yet you can't even do the bare minimum to showcase that you're actually, this amount of work needs to be equalized, and that is by adding employment or employees It doesn't make any sense. But among that, we shall also talk about what is going on in Mali. There has been an attack this morning, and of course, we shall be discussing what is happening. We know this is Alliance Sahel state being attacked, and we know why. And we shall also discuss about the Alliance Sahel state itself, which has actually unveiled a biometric passport. We shall see the advantages, disadvantages of this. Remember, in Kenya, they said that actually our country is a visa-free country, but it wasn't, because biometrically people are still paying for the visas, majority. We shall also discuss about why the Russia foreign minister has accused the US of impending UN resolutions on Gaza ceasefire. And of course, the US, the UN, they're always all involved in all sorts of the same kind of similar shenanigans. But karibuni sana once again. That was last night by the one and only Jada Kingdom. Hope you guys enjoyed that. This is by Abby Artificial Lava, Abby Jasmine. Hope you guys get to enjoy this. And of course, karibuni sana once again to the media of the 21st century. Yes, and of course, Kariburi Sana once again. That is Abby Jasmine, Artificial Lover, one of my favorite jams. Shout out to Spikes for introducing me onto that one. But my quote of the day is remember, as long as you are breathing, it's never too late to start over, never too late to be happy, never too late to set a new goal, never too late to dream a new dream. Okay, it's okay to be in your Delilu mindset. It's okay to be weird. It's okay to be yourself. Keep on believing in yourself. So long as you're breathing, don't give up. So long as you are breathing. Shout out to Jason. I love the way. Shout out to Jason Hill if he's listening. I love the way Jason Hill always, in most of the conversation, if you guys pay attention, he always makes me laugh every time I see him pop with that comment. Like, um, is it I'm of this world, not for I'm of this world, not of this. I don't know, something he says. He's not of this world, something. I can't remember the whole thing. But shout out to Jason. If you're listening, kindly pin the whole thing there. But that keeps me going also all the time. I remember Jason every time he says that because of the dramas going on politically, economically, health wise, a whole bunch of things. But anyway, so long as you're breathing, don't give up. Okay. But my quote, that was my quote of the day. And of course, Karibuni Sana, as we get started, I shall start, of course, with what is happening. That is in Mali. But before that, I have this amazing video here to share. I'm not sure how many of you have watched this series. It's new on Netflix. And shout out to Keith again for letting me understand when you're watching some things, understand the agenda, the angle, what are they trying to communicate. So there's this series called the Supercell, and I've watched the whole series. It's quite amazing. I can't wait to see the season 2. Season 1 was amazing, but there's a whole lot of things to learn in there about the capabilities, I'd say, of black people, melanin, and this guy is explaining it all. And I want to share this video very quickly as we get to move on, just to process it. We shall discuss maybe this on another show, but I just want to share this video before I get to forget, because it's part of why we've been messed up as melanin people. It's part of why we should be very careful with the entities, or should I say, um, the people who control the world to be in general. Let me share this very quickly.
Do you realize what Supercell is? That's not a series. That's not a series. You know what that is? That's an observation. That is an experiment. See, look, my mom used to always tell me this. She said the message.
I mean, they have been experimenting on black people, the melanin, capability, incapabilities, of which there's no incapability. Melanin has a lot of capabilities. We know they have been experimenting on that, but it doesn't stop. They keep on doing it.
It's in the movie.
And through movies, exactly.
Get the picture. The message is in the movie. Get the picture. So when you look at Supercell, notice it's called super. Super means to be superior, supreme, and a cell is a small thing that has organs in it, or organelles, right? So Supercell is this series based off of black people, so-called black people. Can't be nobody else, because only so-called black people get sickle cell anemia. This is only a so-called disease that's prone to us, which I believe is truly a super power gene, but we've been made to think that this is something wrong with us, right? But in this specific series, anybody that had the sickle cell trait or had sickle cell, they had the ability to react with their environment and be activated to have supernatural powers. You see that? And guess what happens?
There are those who could tap into, going from a different dimension to another, if that's the right term I'm using. If you watch the series, actually, it's very interesting. There's another one who can run super fast. There's the one, a child who had the ability to heal now the super cell itself, the disease which they're claiming. But they took her and started literally observing on her. The other one had the ability to shut things down, like lifts heavy things, could knock a building and then it cracks down. Just a whole bunch of things over there. But isn't it just funny? Because it is in the movie and they're still doing it. Like, it's so evident with majority of the things we're seeing today. They are observing the melanin people so well, so bad.
The people
And
with
they don't
sick
want us to tap into our abilities, because shout out to Keith. He was just telling us this the other day. How in Egypt we had the, I don't know, I don't want to mention the name, I can't remember, but where Africans could go from one dimension to another, So they don't want us to learn all that.
cells were kidnapped by a white government, and they were either killed, experimented on, or they had MK Ultra done to them, and they came and they worked for the government agent to go get other people that had sickle cell anemia. Now, peep the basis of it though. All of them was gangbangers, selling drugs, drug users in the hood. They did it all in poverty states. Same thing as cloning Tyrone. The same exact look. They showing us this stuff in the movies, man. But like I was talking about with toxicity, we already went through that. Deficiency. A lot of us are very deficient in minerals, phytonutrients, macronutrients, carboxylic acid, not amino acids. All right. Now what happened is we are adapting now. We're adapting to this new simulation. The sun is fake. The water is contaminated. The air is contaminated. Earth have lost all its minerals. Now our next stage is what? Mutation. It's coming. The glow up coming, man, and it can't be stopped. And the reason why is because you cannot destroy melanin and you cannot destroy carbon. You can change the way it interact with itself in an environment, but you cannot get rid of it. We don't die.
So I feel like right now we should not even be feeling. We shouldn't, as much as it's a threat, we shouldn't actually feel, because that with whatever you were saying at the end, you cannot destroy melanin, because if you destroy melanin, you mean you're destroying the carbon, literally. They're not going to be able to manage, literally. I feel like they're not going to be able to manage with the agendas they have of this climate change bullshit, carbon collection, whatever they're calling it. It's not going to be successful. I also do agree with this guy.
How we multiply. We Elohim children, man.
Exactly. We multiply super quick. Understand that the African woman is the most fertile woman. One woman can give birth to like 15 children. So can the next one. We have 30 children, include the adults, that makes it 34. Include the other, it's I don't believe they're gonna be able to manage whatever their agendas is. The population of Africa is just undistractable. That is the term I can use. The population of Africa, and trust you me, if Africans were taught very well some of the things to avoid, and understanding how they want to control population, we would multiply crazy. If we have the resources, because right now if we multiply, majority of our people are ending up in poverty. It becomes now a generational, they call it a curse of poverty, because the cycle is not being killed. But if imagine if we had the world, Mansa Musa type of shit, we had the world. You know how men would be giving birth, like we'd be having clans, like the way we had now the clans. We'd be literally having clans. Like this is the clan A, clan B, clan C, and maybe not. But I had to share that amazing video over there because, and if you get the time, family, go watch the Supercell. It's on Netflix. You'll see a lot of information that they're actually telling you from that series over there of how they are experimenting the melanin capabilities and what it can do, because they do know. It's only us that we don't really know, but they do know. It took me back to my childhood memory Oh my God, I thought I was crazy. And I don't know if other kids today, because of the food they're consuming, especially pregnant women, because right now we know they're messing with children from a woman being pregnant. Whatever a woman is feeding herself might affect the baby or will affect the baby. And this is why we've seen them even talking about how it is so easy for right now to have a child, a male child born, having the female, how do I call them? Female hormones, because of what the mother is consuming. It has affected the child, because remember the video I shared some time back from Beachwood, they're right now doing that to pregnant women so that it can affect the baby to complete the agenda once this child is here. It's crazy, psychopathic. But yeah, watch the movie. It is super amazing. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't wanna get so much deep into that, you know. But I remember when I was a child, I used to believe I had capabilities of flying. I used to have those, not just an imagination, but I used to like structure myself flying, structure myself just doing some crazy things. And I used to think I'm crazy. But now coming to learn everything day by day, you're like, yo, Africans, we have this ability of flying. We did have the ability of flying. We had the ability of lighting up fire. Because, like, after watching movies as a child, right? You're going to take those images you see of superpowers and you try, implement them in reality, like, put them in reality, but nothing happens. There's no reaction of the fire coming out. But this is no joke. This is a reality of things we were actually doing. We have evidence of videos. And sadly, right now, white people are the ones doing it. They're tapping into this information, or are being tapped into this information way before us. But I'm glad to be one among the people who's slowly learning deeper about this, because it's amazing. Like I was saying yesterday, it's amazing learning our history and what we could do, what symbols, what they meant, how we used to name rivers, forests, spiritually, what they meant to us. The majority of Africans are not spiritually connected. It's in the other way around. But as we get into Mali, of course, what is happening and why they're destroying again Africa and why they'll never stop. Our abilities. We do not just have the ability of superpowers, healing. We have the abilities of ruling, because we once did. We have the ability to become rich, because countries like the Alliance Sahel states in general is doing it. And this is how we can see them being attacked right now. I think since last month, we've reported a couple of deaths in Mali, in Niger. Burkina Faso has not been touched. Remember, Ibrahim Traore said, this is no joke. You're declaring a war if you try there. But today, early in the morning on Tuesday, which is today, there is been a military training camp in Mali capitals, which has been attacked today in the morning. And this information being given by the army. The Koi Marima Sagara, deputy director of the Army's communication service, said it received reports of an attack of the gender grime, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, training school in Bamako, but has no further information. And Associated Press a reporter had two explosions and saw smoke rise in the distance. The training school is located on the outskirts of the city, and it was unclear who are the attackers, or where the attackers were, and how many they were, and whether the situation was under control. But this takes me back again to kind of question the movement the Alliance Sahel state is making, because we've seen so far Burkina Faso moving in a very clever way. Like Ibrahim Traore, like I said last week, this is a man who studied this regime, understood if I'm becoming a military, if I'm going to be serving this country, I'm going to be on the front in a way where I can be able to take over the country. And that is what he did. And I'm not saying they're moving in the wrong way. Of course, having the unity, it can instill the same information, knowledge to the rest of the juntas if they just took over the countries without an agenda. But so far, we know that they're moving great. But Burkina Faso, being honest, is on the head, as much as the three countries are on the head. Last week, I shared a documentary showcasing how Burkina Faso, since Ibrahim Traore took power, how he's been able to execute a couple of few things. like creating employment, ensuring food is getting into the country, it's no longer promises, ensuring that actually the terrorists will not be able to move where the residents are. And if it's attacking the terrorists, they're using a certain sort of drone, if you can remember, that I think was from Turkey, if I can remember. And this drone targets only the terrorists. It is designed in a mode where it cannot affect the civilians. It only targets the terrorists. So I'm kind of questioning about Mali. If Burkina Faso has been able to do this, is it that Mali is not or does not have these drones to be able to tackle the same situation? Because so far it's been Mali and Niger being attacked. Burkina Faso have not had and have not reported any negativity coming from the country. So I just hope, this is a request to Ibrahim, I hope the same the same drones is used for his country to protect his people. He should ensure them as the Alliance Sahel state, they have the same military weapons that are necessary to protect their people, if I'm using the right, correct terms. But continuing with the article just a little bit, they're saying that Mali, along with their neighbors Burkina Faso and Niger, has for over the decade battled an insurgency fought by armed groups, including some of the allied with the Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State groups. Following military coups in the three nations in recent years, the ruling juntas have expelled French forces, as you should, and turned into Russia machinery units for security assistance instead. And of course, you know that they have been helping them to get weapons and a whole bunch of things. Attacks in central and northern Mali are increasing. In July, attacks in central and northern Mali are increasing. Like I said, in July, approximately 50 Russian machineries in a convoy were killed in an Al-Qaeda ambush, and the machineries had been fighting mostly two grey rebels along Mali's army when the convoy was forced to retreat into jihadi territory. But that is what is happening in Mali. But I just hope the Alliance Sahel state itself as a group can be able to help each other, not one country making a move and the rest moving behind. Because with unity, again, like how we claim, not how we claim, but literally how Africa is going to be able to tackle a lot of things. If the three countries are developing, it has to be at the same pace. Burkina Faso should not be moving forward, Niger and Mali lagging behind. Niger and Burkina Faso should not be working together and Mali lagging back. They should be working together because they have already formed a whole Alliance Sahel state. But with all that, they have also launched a new biometric passport, and I want to share much more of this, what they said.
Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger will soon launch new biometric passports, the serving president of the confederation that groups the three countries has announced. In a televised address on Sunday, Malian President Colonel Simi Goita said the issuance of new official documents was aimed at harmonizing travel documents within the confederation. It is also aimed at facilitating the circulation of their citizens across the world, he said. The cost of the new passport remains unknown. So is the list of countries within which Malians, Burkinabés and Nigerians will still be allowed to enter visa-free. During his speech, Colonel Goita notably hinted at the creation of an investment bank and of a media outlet. The announcement came on the eve of the first anniversary of the creation of the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. On September 17, 2023, the neighbors signed the Liptako-Goma Charter, establishing a mutual defense pact. Earlier this year, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger announced their withdrawal from historic regional group ECOWAS.
Exactly. So that lady reports like an AI. She's funny. But yeah, that is Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. They will soon, which I believe it's already on process, because that was last week I was reporting where the new passport, I think, it was unveiled last week, where we saw it didn't contain a few things that the previous passport had. This includes something to do with the French, a bunch of things, literally. But I'm so happy to see that this country is moving the three countries are moving in the right direction. That is, to be specific, because most of the passports we have, We shouldn't even be having passports. That's number one. I wish and I hope that's the direction they're taking. With this, now the fact that you are in hold and control of your country, you can make decisions, you can overturn things. It can actually lead to you being a free, borderless country. You know, you being the first three African countries that don't have passports. Imagine if we have that, literally. If we really have that, it would be super, super dope. So I hope, that is my hope, that's Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, that's the direction they're taking. But of course, there is some positive news over there, despite what happened. That is in Mali. We are hoping that the country is going to seek a way how they can protect their civilians not to be attacked again, because, of course, the French, the US, the UN, the EU, the AU, they're not going to stop. All these organizations won't stop until they get back their fake puppets back in power. You know, their democratic power. That's how they call it. But moving on, but before we move on, I see Jabba in the building. Good afternoon from my end. Grand Rising, hope you're doing amazing. Since I there, Joby, I hope you have a smooth day, calm day. Thank you, you too. I hope you have the same on your end. Enjoy your day at work or whatever you shall be doing today. I'm not sure if you're off or at work. That was last week. You said you had a 2 day off, right? I hope you're doing amazing, and I hope you're feeling great as well. Moving on is about the Russia foreign minister who has accused the US of impending the UN resolutions on Gaza ceasefire deal. Lately, I've been talking about the UN and, of course, the US involvement in the UN. We know how involved they are. Like, it's not something to question. The UN backs, like we were saying, Israel. The UN and the Is it the UN and Israel? How do I even say it? Is it Israel? Israel controls America. Israel controls the rest of the world. So I'm trying to figure out the right word to say. Let me read that again. I want to use the best idiotic words, okay, but meaningful. So yes, they're saying that the Russian minister has accused US of impending UN resolution on Gaza ceasefire. Let me read the article as you get to continue, as I figure out the right words. They're saying the Russian foreign minister has accused the US of impending the UN Security Council resolution on Gaza ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. But remember, yesterday I shared a video on the Africa Today show. Remember that journalist, Israeli journalist? They said they need to cleanse. I remember even the structure of hands. We need to cleanse Hamas. We need to cleanse Gaza. Ethnic, even if it's gonna, no matter who is involved. And these are the same motherfuckers, and pardon my French, recruiting Africans. They don't care about whoever is there, whether African, whether Asian, they don't care. Okay? They want to cleanse Gaza. Ethnic, I can't even remember the term. But anyway, let me go back to this article. The media is so funny. I don't know if you guys see the joke in media, the mainstream media. The mainstream media is such a joke. And this makes just a whole lot of sense why right now it's collapsing. For real, for real. The mainstream media is collapsing. As much as they still have the power to control the majority of the narrative, how they want it to run, and how majority of the people still have not understood how the mainstream media is controlled. But come on. We know the numbers are dying. Let's not act like we don't know. But they're also adding that after speaking with his Egyptian counterpart on Monday, Lavrov said that Russia welcomed any steps to stop the bloodshed, alleging that the US does not want to pass the decision that would lead to this. Of course, they don't want to. Of course, US won't. US is a puppet country. You know, it's funny when I saw yesterday, let me see. Yesterday I saw the best country in the world being ranked. And apparently we had Switzerland, as the best ranked country in the world. Then I think the US was number 3 or number 4 or number 2. I can't remember. Now I'm like, this goddamn country. Are you guys saying just the US is really among the best? Are you all crazy? And then the list goes on and on. And you look at the history and what these people are doing politically, you're like, nah, it makes sense literally. The person who controls these rankings, all this information, is because it favors them. It needs to favor them. It needs to maintain that mentality that people have of the world. It has to maintain. Nothing has to change.
Who runs Switzerland, Joby?
It's Israel.
Yeah, through who?
You
The
America?
Rothschild. The Rothschild runs Switzerland. So look. So where is the WHO? Where's the WTF? Where's the WEF? And where's the Bank of International Settlements at? Switzerland. Who owns and controls those things? The Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. They control Switzerland. That's why Switzerland is neutral. They created Switzerland. Switzerland is their little country that they control. So I would say Switzerland is the best. Switzerland is where it's all their evil.
Of course. Nah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Of course, because we have the puppets they have there. The puppets they have there in Switzerland working at the WHO. They're doing an amazing job, ensuring the pandemic is going to be very well executed.
Yeah,
and then we said, what else there?
Russia said that's all evil begins. As Russia has Putin said, that's where all evil begins in Switzerland.
Which bank is there, you said?
Look up the International Bank of Settlements. That's their number. That's the bank of all banks. That's the mother. That's the bank that owns the IMF, the World Bank, the Federal Reserve Bank. Say the Bank of International Settlements. That's the Rothschild bank that owns all banks.
Yeah, it's in the Switzerland.
Of course. Of course. That's the bank that owns the IMF Bank. That's the bank that owns the World Bank. That's the bank that owns our Federal Reserve Bank and all Federal Reserve banks on the planet. So that's why Switzerland.
It makes sense because if you're talking about the money and this is the bank that controls everything, and then talking about the WHO, which is the health, which is also one of the ways they are controlling the people right now. Money I mean, it's gonna be ranked the best.
Exactly. They created that hell on earth. As Putin calls it. That's where all the evil starts.
This is beautiful to learn. Literally super, super crazy. But karibu sana Kit, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm just making my ass up. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm happy for the day, excited. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling literally. Yeah, and of course, trying to laugh at the joke that the mainstream media gives us every single day because you'll read between the lines, you just laugh about
the mainstream media is dying. Remember, most of when you read that stuff, when you get news from remember, most news comes from Reuters or the AP. They take and they put around the world. Who owns the AP? The Rothschilds. Who owns Reuters? The Rothschilds. So their news is what disseminates to other broadcasting entities around the world. They use Reuters and the AP, Associated Press, both controlled and owned by the Rothschild family. So that's why they get mad. That's why you got Camilla. Hey, they're not using this. We got to censor the social media because people are not using the regular sources, our propaganda, because people know mainstream media is a lie. Most people start to say this news is lying to me. So, because their news creates what? Reality, their narrative. So, when you look at their news, they get to form the reality. You read the words, and you're like, it's propaganda. And just like with their social media, their Googles, it takes you to their lies. Doesn't take you to what you want to look up. It now takes you to their opinion, their narrative.
So what? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so what we're talking about right here, which of course led me to what I saw yesterday, Switzerland being ranked among the best countries, number one best country in the world, is we can see the Russia foreign minister is accusing the US of impending UN resolutions on Gaza ceasefire. And I was just reading the article where they're saying
Of
that,
course, the UN is controlled. The UN was set about it. People of Switzerland, Rothschilds and Rockefellers created the UN. The UN was never. The reason why you got the UN, first they had a first. That's why you got no history. The first rendition of the UN was called the League of Nations, but they didn't get rid of the most of the monarchs in Europe who didn't want that. They had to topple the monarchs, which is the kings and queens. So because the Rothschilds wanted complete control of the world, see, with kings and queens, they could always be kicked out the country and jailed. So they knew they had to topple that and put these fake democracies in power. So that's when you get the killing of all the empire kings. Russia's king. Now you got democracy in Russia. They killed the king of Russia, him and his family. They killed the Habsburgs, the French king, but they just went through German king, got rid of the Kaiser, so they can increase their power. So that was getting rid of the monarchies. So, so the bankers would have complete control of the planet and countries and these fake democracies. And what you're seeing is now, no, the the UN was created by these people. So that's why they try to now dangle the UN. Even Traore told us, let's get out the fucking UN. Why are we in it? We never had any power. Doesn't been. Has the UN ever stopped neocolonialism? No, we're set up to keep it going. That's why the UN is always in Africa, raping and robbing and stealing and shit.
exactly.
So UN was created not to solve any problems. It was to create a one world government that these no good bastards wanted. And so, of course, the monarchs were against it because that would hurt their kingdoms. One world government. What? I'm the king. You're not fucking up my kingdom. I'm not with no one world government. Are you crazy? That's what had to overthrow these kings and get rid of their ass. So when the League of Nations didn't work because the monarchy said, nah, we're not with no League of Nations. Fuck that. So after the League of Nations fell, they got rid of all the kings and they brought back the United Nations. They've been trying to create this one world government from Switzerland. As Putin told you, that's where all the evil begins. Do this for me, Joby, real quick. Show me images of the Rothschild Castle in Switzerland. We know they got them everywhere, but they got one huge one in Switzerland. What are Rothschilds doing in Switzerland? We know they made ones in England too, but that's the only monarchy that they kept in power, the English one. Don't think it was the British monarchy that controlled the world when they had the British Empire. The Rothschilds controlled that. Okay, the Rothschild controlled the British Empire.
Images of that?
Images of the Rothschild Castle in Switzerland. Switzerland's a vassal state of the Rothschilds, just like Israel. But way before they created Israel, they had Switzerland. Switzerland was not, remember he had World War II in Europe and everybody was fighting, but nobody ever invaded Switzerland. You know why? Because those are the motherfuckers that were behind the wars. So it's a bunch of them. It's a bunch of Rothschilds. So we got a bunch of them in Switzerland.
Excuse me.
Right. Bunch of castles. That's who runs Switzerland, Joby. And remember World War II, Switzerland wasn't attacked. Hitler never went into Switzerland. No, the American never went into Switzerland. That's the only country that didn't get attacked in Europe in World War II. Why was that? Because they were the ones responsible for the war. They were the Rothschild family with all these castles and shit and running the world. That's why Switzerland wasn't in the fucking war when all of Europe was devastated and demolished. So that's why, Joby. See, dig deeper when you think it's the best place to live. Dig deeper. There you go.
He's fucked up. As we move on, before we get closer to winding up, on that is a situation of course, Russia foreign minister accusing the US. That is true. They don't want to cease fire. The video I was sharing
No,
yesterday,
he
the
told you
Israel
once
media is talking
they
about
want to
cleansing
ethnically
the
cleanse. They
country.
want to kill
Exactly,
everybody.
exactly.
And understand
So,
they want world war. That's why they're trying to now bomb Russia completely. Russia already told you, you do this is world war. They want to now unleash missiles into Russia from Ukraine. They need world war because the Rothschild Rockefeller system of control, their banking scam is collapsing. They're broke. They wrecked America. All these endless wars for Israel, the war in Iraq, the war in Afghanistan, all these endless wars were for the Rothschild Rockefellers. And for Israel, Syria, Libya,
mm,
there wasn't wars for us. We don't control this. The Americans don't. The Israelis through the Rothschilds control this bitch. Those wars was for them.
mm,
They said they needed those wars, and we did it for them. Now we're bankrupt. So they bankrupt their own system because they moved everything to China. Like I was telling that moron yesterday, didn't know anything. Didn't know the difference between the Chinese and Japanese. I mean, all them 79 people. Shut up, moron. You are you're an old idiot. Are you 62? You haven't learned anything? You're an idiot.
you
Okay?
can't blame him. You can't blame him. Maybe I'm gonna be 70, still no make a difference. So yeah, you can't blame him.
I blame him.
Can't,
He's an idiot.
nah,
Shut
you can't blame him. No, he's not an idiot.
geopolitical. Yes. Yes.
Who are you talking about? Number one, maybe I'm defending someone I should have been defending. Who are you talking
Learn
about?
something. Those guys yesterday when I had you on the camera, one of the guys just
No, he's not an idiot. He's not.
yes.
I'm not gonna call him. He's from Africa. We
Not the
just
Nigerian, not the Nigerian guy, not him. The other
okay.
African black guy.
Oh, yeah,
Nigerian guy
no, no,
like, oh man,
Nigerian,
you
because
know
I'm not
you're
gonna
smart.
allow that. Yeah.
Now Nigerian guy knew I was smart. Nigerian like, oh man, you smart, you know a lot of shit, goddamn you know history, you know a lot of stuff. You've been everywhere. Yeah, so Nigerian was telling you know a lot of shit. But anyway, um, like I'm saying, so the fucked up thing, they destroyed their own economy, not knowing they so they need a way out. So they need war. Whenever their banking scams fail, they take you to war. World War I, World War II was the collapse of their economic system. So to stay in power, they take you to war. So you don't know what's going on. But too many people are woken up and know now that these wars are started by these people. They're not organic. Wars not organic. They create the wars. Then they want you to fight and die in that shit. And so now you got them recruiting the dumbass Africans. Hey, you want to fight for Jesus and Israel, stupid nigga? Yes, I do. Come fight for us and we'll give you citizenship. They're not going to ever give it to them. They use black people as cannon fodder because I told you, they don't have the numbers to have any real war. That's what I told you. They can never invade Africa if Africans wake up. You're the majority of the planet. They
Yeah.
invade Africa for real, their backs will be broken.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be the end of
Yeah.
white supremacy. Go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
Joe.
I did say that at the beginning of the video. If you go at the beginning of my show, there is a video, interesting video I've shared. If you get time to watch that, kindly see, rewatch that. For those who are actually joining the show, go to the first few minutes
What
of
was it
the
about?
and then see what I was talking about. But I was saying, yeah, literally, they're not gonna be able to complete their agendas because if they were not just messing with the production of African women, the we can multiply crazy, like we can multiply super crazy. One woman has the ability of giving birth like to 10 children. Imagine 5 women, and then
Exactly.
add 1,000,
Exactly.
add all of
Exactly.
them
Right.
producing
Right.
10,
What?
10, 10.
Exactly.
Like,
Why do they tell me, oh, they keep worrying about African people's health and they need the VAC the women? Exactly, Joby.
if
Thank
that's how I say, if we had the Mansa Musa type of wealth, or even the little, if we had a little bit of equality, people
you
would be
do
able
that.
to manage polygamy like way back
You
then.
do
But
have
right
that
now,
wealth.
the
So
reason
it's
why
so
polygamy or giving birth to many children is
that
being
wealth
seen as
has
advantage because of
You
poverty.
do, you do still have that wealth. You just don't control it. That wealth ain't left Africa. That
Mm,
wealth is still there. You just
mhm.
don't control it.
We
They do.
will. Very soon. We will. But as we get closer to winding up, to the nurse striking in Kenya again, who are demanding for more nurses to be employed. And the question is for those who have been there, what have they done? Have they delivered what is expected of them for the period of time they've been there? Because I was talking about how 2022, if you guys can remember, I shared a crazy video of this woman and multiple hospitals detaining patients because of not being able to pay the
They
bills, and the treatment also they were getting, it was so bad, you know they were not being treated okay. And
because
majority of the time I've
because
shared
the system is
so many
European.
stories.
You're
I've
supposed
shared
to
so
heal
many
people.
stories. Just a
They're
minute,
more
Keith.
worried
I've
about
shared
money.
so many stories of nurses treating, and even myself, I've taken my mom to the hospital. I've seen the kind of treatments literally nurses have. They are
Hey, did you go to that crazy Nairobi hospital that I mean that the Morris showed me? Did your mama go to that shit?
Kenyatta Hospital.
Yeah,
Yeah, in Nairobi Hospital because that's where she went. She had her first
or
operation to
Kenyatta Ross, whatever.
figure
My
out
God, hey,
cancer.
she
Yeah.
wasn't gonna live. She wasn't gonna live in that shit. She was, you weren't gonna live going up in that shit. You already
Well,
got a death sentence. Sadly,
yeah. Yeah, so in majority of the cases, and even I remember there's a time my brother was sick in 2019, and we needed to rush him to the hospital. It was literally midnight, almost 2 p.m. there in the morning, and we went to Mama Lucy Hospital, one of the biggest hospitals too in the 254. And I remember it took us time for us to be attended to. My brother was super super ill. He was just a child. The fever is getting high, and you're like, you're taking. I got so much. You're taking tea, and someone is literally crying out there, they need your help, like you're busy taking tea and gossiping. Are you crazy? Because that's what they do in majority of the hospitals. You go, you find them either gossiping or they're taking tea,
what was
not
wrong
doing.
with him?
Yeah, it was sick. I can't remember, man. It's a long time. I can't remember, but he was sick. But I remember
That's
we
why.
needed
That's why Africans, the system
instant
is
help.
fucked. Africans, the system is fucked up. You better start learning. You better start learning. You can't be a moron. You better start learning health. So shout out to Erica. You better start learning what makes you sick, what things you should take, because your hospitals are not really hospitals. They're failed because there's no money behind them. You better start learning shit. Your ignorance gonna get you killed.
She was not a cracker, jibba jabba. Mama Lucy actually is the third president's wife. Yeah, so the hospital was named after her. Yeah,
Mama,
she's a crack.
all, 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 all these hospitals named after these death spots, jibber jabber, and
But anyway,
these hospitals are fucked up. I'm like, I wouldn't take my dog to that shit, let alone
you
a
know,
human being.
yeah. So
So
today we have the doctors striking, and they're demanding for more employment to be increased, for them to have more workers assisting them. They're saying that we are tired, and that this is patients are seeking treatment at country referral hospitals where they have been left stranded after nurses kept away from the facility to participate in the strikes. The nurses who are members of Kenya National Union of
not getting
Nurses,
paid.
Marakwet, say that they will not return to work until the county government hires more nurses, citing undersatisfying. And led by the Secretary Benson B. Watt, the nurses have said they will not return to work until the country government complies with their demands. And my question is, what have you guys done? Because me personally, I love checking into people's record. Call me mtiaji, that's how they say it, like I'm the baddest. I don't know how to say it in English, but I'm gonna check on you. I'm gonna check on your documents, trust me. I'm gonna go every detail on you to see what kind of a ass are you, or are you a legit person. You can't tell me you're demanding more people to be hired in an organization. Have you delivered? Are you even delivering? Number one, are you doing what is supposed to be done?
With Joby, hold on, Joby. They're overworked. That's what they're talking about. They're overworked
No,
because
no, no, Keith. No, no, no. I'm just from telling you. Understand what I'm saying. In most of the hospitals, Keith, you go, the treatment you get from the nurses, the doctors, it's pathetic. And I mean that. Maybe I've had the worst experience. Maybe
I believe.
majority.
Okay, I believe that. Okay, but I'm saying, are they overwhelmed, Joey? Or there's too many people, not enough doctors? I'm asking you.
If we have
Are
what?
are they overwhelmed? Is it too many patients and not enough doctors and nurses? I've
No,
seen them damn hospitals that Demore showed me. That's overwhelming.
no, no. Not in all institutes, because even the institute that is complaining, the one that should be complaining is Kenyatta National Hospital, the biggest one. That is the hospital that holds the most and the literally the largest number of patients. That is the biggest hospital we have, and I think
That's,
tomorrow said in Africa, in East
no,
Africa,
not
that is the
Africa.
biggest hospital we have.
He said in East Africa. And if that's the biggest hospital, you should be ashamed as an African leader. That
Because it
shit
is
is.
the biggest. I mean, in Tanzania, I saw an amazing hospital which was being constructed. I'm not sure if it is complete, because that was the last time I left a certain hospital that was
Okay.
being constructed.
Well, it's
So I'm here
complete now, Joe. But you haven't been in 2 years. It's complete now. 2 years ago.
but now we should not have more people being given opportunity if the ones who have been there. If not, we should reshuffle everything. You need to be fired if I'm gonna hire anyone else, because you are showing me you are incapable of delivering the little bare minimum you should be delivering, because I'm still gonna insist on the poor treatment, the poor services our patients get
Okay.
from these pathetic nurses and doctors. I'm gonna insist on that, and I stick on that. I'm gonna fire you for you trying to tell me you need more people added in an organization dared to deliver the bare minimum.
So you're saying. So
That
you're
is me.
saying. Okay. So you're saying. Okay. I agree in somewhat. Okay. So you're saying when you go to the system, as you go there, because it's a poverty-based system where those poor's go at. So the doctors and the nurses do not treat the people with respect. That's what you're saying.
Exactly. Number one, yeah. Because you'll find that we've reported so many cases of women even giving birth out of hospitals when a hospital is shut. Nurses and doctors are there, they're not going to help you because they're striking. Why are you a nurse, number one, if you don't have compassion? That is something I keep on talking about. You can't tell me you're a teacher or a nurse if you don't have
I
compassion.
understand the compassion part, Joby, but are they being paid?
This the same doctors, remember, I think 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we reported they had a 2 month strike, straight 2 month strike of doctors demanding for higher wages. I think it was increased. It was increased because
Was it?
remember they were threatened. They were threatened. If you
I
do not
remember.
go back to institutes, we're gonna replace you with other people. And for those who didn't, immediately they were replaced, no cap. And those who went back, the wages were increased.
Okay.
So for me, I'm not gonna agree to this bullshit. These people need to be fired. As a matter of fact, you've neglected patients who demand your attention. You should be fired. You do not understand your work. Go back home and sleep because you're tired. Let us give people who want to work to work. You are a lazy ass person, and you don't deserve to be in this space. It's not for you. That is just for me, and that is the Ibrahim Traore type of leadership we need.
Okay.
This you wanna be a no, I'm not being a coon. I'm gonna give you facts, get mad. That's it. And as we wind up, these doctors are making me mad. I've seen what people go through. People go through a lot of shit. And nurses are just chilling, making stories, not doing anything, and someone is suffering in pain. And if I go to a private hospital like the one I was in, Kid, it's expensive as F. And it's not a well-maintained hospital like you saw, as you claim. It is not, because I'm not gonna lie, the toilet there is pathetic. I was puking, feeling like I can puke more my whole stomach because what the heck is smelling here? And that is a private hospital.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that was a private hospital. I thought that shit was shabby. Um, but they treated you decent, right?
They did, yeah, they did. The doctor there, I do go there regularly, even for checkups. Like if I want to go for checkup, that's why I always go. No, majority of the times they treat me right. That is a private hospital, so number one, the employment is very. Of course, the people who are working there, it's a small office, a small compound, so it's gonna accommodate, let's say, like three doctors, maybe four nurses, so seven people, let's say, working
All
there.
right.
Yeah, majority of the private hospitals, that's how they are. But these public ones, and they're the same people striking.
But
Hell
most
nah.
people, but most people can't afford that. Most people can't afford the hospital you was in, Joe.
I know that, and this is if we they can't afford. We have public hospitals that are supposed to cater for your needs. You should not feel like you're the worst person in the world because you're sick. You should be treated with love, compassion. Let someone give you hope, even if you're dying. Let them lie to you. You're gonna live tomorrow. That's how it should be. I don't want to get my emotions here. Let me wind up the show, family. I don't have my day spoiled by this. Doctors won't just critically think, and organizations that are set up that won't work for whatever they're supposed to do.
What are you talking about? You're talking about a system that was set up by Europeans, Joe. Again, once again, it's not African. The hospital system and all that system is created. All that shit in Africa is created by Europeans. It's not based on health. It's based on profit. So the systems don't work on compassion. They don't work on care and loving. That's African. You're asking a system that was not created by Africans to work by African standards. And they were never set up by African standards. It was set up by European standards, which is savage and psychopathic. They're based on money. They're not based on wellness and healing. The best thing you could do is keep your ass out of any hospital by learning real health. Because every hospital in the world is based on um, money. America too. You don't get any goddamn love in America. You ain't got no money to put your
Oh,
ass out in the street.
that's the worst. Oh my God, that's the worst. America. Oh America is a shithole. Trump, you dare not call Africa a shithole. US is a shithole. Such a shithole of a country. From everything it does, it's such a shithole. I was just doing my research, trying to look at videos of how patients are being treated, because apparently Kenya is clearing all the evidence, even the videos I've shared before. I can't find them of how nurses have been treating people badly. There's no such videos, but I found some from America, and I'm like, a camera maybe set somewhere. They don't know it's recording. They're beating you. They're torturing you. Especially if you're a black person and you're old and you have these crackers to take care of you.
They kill you. Yeah, they're killing you.
That's the worst.
Yeah,
Let
they
nobody
kill
tell me Africa is a shithole. We have
every,
all the work. We have all the resources. We are the goats, actually. We should be called that. We are the G's. We are the OGs. Standing. We just need to act like it, like Ibrahim Traore is acting, but we are the OGs. America is such a shithole. Oh my God.
exactly right, but what's your insurance? Exactly. Because they thought when I was sick, you could just go to the hospital. You can't just go to the hospital in America. You can't just do that. The cost, hospital costs bankrupt people in America. People can't afford to go to the hospital in America. Can't afford to go to no fucking hospital. Black, you better have someone visit you every day. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The hospital.
No. Yeah, because man, hey, nah, 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 nah. You'd rather get old and have your family taking care of you. You can be dumped in these places, like where I see old people. I don't know. They're being. I don't know where they're. I see African people going for these jobs from Africa. I don't know. I'm going to take care of old people, wash their poo poo and not what? I'm not doing no goddamn shit like that. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'd rather
Because
sell tomatoes
I
and
told
onions
you,
on
because
the
you're
street.
supposed to be, because you're leaders. Like I told you, you're making you another slave race. They got you going to slavery again. That's why you got. That's why you got fucking root out there. Yeah, we're gonna have Kenyans go to Germany and do fucked up jobs because we're gonna put them in slavery. And you heard the Germans. We don't want these niggas here. What the fuck are you talking about?
I had my dad once telling me, offering me the jobs I was being offered were such. You can go to America, they make good money. You can go take care of old people and wash people's asses. And I'm like, wait,
I
what?
told,
What?
I told you. Exactly. You
Crazy.
because you're supposed to go. You're supposed to be a slave. Go wash people's asses, wash their nuts, sack, and balls while it's all fucking dirty.
But
Because you know why people don't wash their ass. They don't
yeah,
wash their ass. But now you washing all the dirt and grime off the ball sack, Joby. Like,
it is
no, no,
slavery. When you think
got
about
your
it, is
got
because
your
you're ew.
got your mask on, and do this for me, Joby, real quick. Let's do this real quick. Before we leave, go to YouTube and say African caregiver. She's a nurse. African caregiver gets spit on by her British patient. Spit right in the African bitch's face. You're like, you're like, what? Oh well, she, I don't know, whip that white woman's ass. But this lady, you watching this lady's ass and coochie stinking coochie hole, and she spits right in your face.
Man, let me tell you, my temper does not allow me to be in such a premises because I'm gonna be arrested. Maybe I'm gonna be shot. Okay, they're gonna act like that cracker how they acted on that lady. I repeat to her that when she was starting the hot pot, cause you're gonna kill me. Trust me. Oh, speaking of acting all nice. Yeah. It's a war.
You
It's a
spitting in
war.
your,
Trust me.
you taking care of washing her ass and all this other kind of shit. Doing she in your face.
Oh my god. It's a war. I think it's a shot. Let me share this one.
I don't think it's they dancing. What is this? You
They're
dancing
the
with the
same
white woman.
people dancing.
That's another one. I don't know. Dancing. Oh my God. Yep, that's it. That's one of them. That nice kid.
Give me the knife.
Washing up click here, spit
Give
on
me
her
the
face.
knife. I'll give it to you in the back. I'll give it to you.
Mm.
In the back. That's what I'll do. Right there. I'll give it to you.
And the African woman's all docile and shit, spit in her face.
Or maybe in the front.
You get in, you
I'll have
wash
to
my
think
ass.
about it.
You get your ass in there, you nigga bitch, and you wash my ass.
Hi,
You
Joe.
nigga
Most
bitch.
people I've not seen you in a while, but hope you're doing great, Joe.
That's what they got. That's what they got your mosquito doing in England, washing white people's asses. That's why you always find them walking around town all fucked up in the head. See, you get this, and you wash, you put that in my palm. You wash my ass. I think that's a difference.
It's the same. She's throwing things at her. It's the
Spit
same.
on,
No.
spit on it
No, I
again.
will not stop. Yeah, she spit on my face. Stop it. No. No, I will not stop it. I will not stop.
And when that's not spitting on you, you nigga bitch. The fucked up bitch. Woo! I would have whipped this white woman's ass. She would never survive.
To the jail I'm going. To the jail. I'm going. I'm going to the jail. I'm not tolerating that bullshit out there. Oh my god, I'm smacking the shit out of you. I don't care how old you are. What? Okay.
They don't believe
I'm
in
just gonna
brushing their teeth. Imagine how stinky that spit was, how nasty. They don't brush their teeth. They be licking in dogs' mouths and shit.
I'm not a good person. I'm not a good person. I'm not a good person at all. I accept that. Me, I'm gonna beat you. I swear. I don't care
Not
how
a good
old.
person. That's what you're supposed to do with me. A good
Let me
person.
give you
You're not supposed to allow nobody to disrespect you, Joby.
I was giving a short story yesterday as I wind up, right? On the rhythm scoop show. Something that happened to me on Friday when I was with Christine. Remember when I was telling you I'm gonna get food? Remember
Food
on
with
Friday?
Christine. Yeah.
Yeah. So on my way, I bumped to this guy with really cute bras. So I liked some because I wanted to get me some bras.
Okay.
So standing there, there's this old guy who comes out of nowhere and he tells the bra guy, you need to actually sell her also an extra, what is a lasso? An extra scarf. Let me say like a scarf, yeah, a long scarf, because I want a short dress. So he was like, you need to also sell her a very a scarf so she can tie her attire the way she's dressed. I don't like that. We don't like that. And I asked him, you old Negro, who told you what you like? Who asked you what you like and what you don't like? And who are you talking to? You know me? Do I know you? Go tell your wife, go tell your children, go tell your generation how to dress. Don't talk to me. And because he wanted to be loud, Christine is my witness. I became more louder. I attracted now the attention he wanted to get. You want attention? I'm gonna give you the attention. I'm gonna shout and yell because you wanted to make me feel embarrassed, right? Now you're gonna
Yeah.
be the embarrassed one. People ended up laughing at him. Everyone was laughing at him because
Because
who are you
because
talking to because you're
because
old?
because you took your power back, Joby. Because you're not the meek African. You're not the meek African woman. You're not the meek African. So you took your power back by letting them know, hey, who the fuck are you, old man? You don't disrespect me. Shut the fuck up.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
keep
speak
you on
for me.
check. You take your old kunas whatever from me. Okay? It's a different era. Yesterday, it's a different generation. Can't keep up, you better kick out. That's what I'm saying. But anyway,
What was this? Christine was probably, oh my God.
she laughed and yeah, she was surprised and she laughed so hard. She laughed so because she didn't expect that kind of a reaction from me. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take your old ass from me. But anyway, much love, family. See you guys later on the Black Kings frequency. Remember to tune in. Which grammar? That grammar that's what
Yeah, because Joby said, I remember the Morris said Joby helped him out too, was talking to somebody for him.
was me and Kamlish.
Huh?
Me and Kamlish.
No, it wasn't Cam. Was it Cam? No, it wasn't Cam. The Morris said you helped them do something. You yelled at somebody for him or something this weekend or something.
Me and Kamlish. Yeah, it was me and Kamlish. I'm telling you, we went to me and Kamlish because yeah, it was someone trying to disrespect him and we were going to check on him. Like, yo, what you say?
What happened now? That was his weekend?
No, that was last week when he told you you're gonna help him out. Or I don't know when he's talking about. I don't know. We've been in so many incidents with Demore, so I'm not sure. But anyway, family, see you guys later. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jiba Jabba, thank you so much for keeping the conversation active. To everyone who's live with us on Twitter, kindly follow the page. Everyone live with us on YouTube for the first time, ensure you also do so and download our app. Which is
Joby has an African confidence, so now she's not gonna let people just talk to her crazy.
I've never allowed anyone to talk to me crazy, including my father. Yo, I've never, and I will never allow it. Okay, you kick the door, not me kicking the door. You kick the door, not me. How much love, family? See you guys later.
That old man told you, stop your thirst trap out of here.
Please don't trip. Last night was crazy, can't remember it. Who made my